Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news, and our topics tonight are going to be the Glazers forcing an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer transfer plan change, as many of us would have predicted. Spin. The spin has started and it's going to continue, so you better take some travel sickness tablets because you are going to be spun around like a bottle top by this Glazer PR machine over the next few weeks. Also be talking about potential striker options and a good player that's been really good that's playing badly, and a player that's not played bad who's playing good. We'll be talking about that a little bit later as well. But it is that time. It is that time again. I just want to say a big shout out to Manscaped for sponsoring the show for us today. I know many of you look forward to the Manscaped integration like you would a good episode of Line of Duty. Well, Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience, and Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million people worldwide. We've all had those close encounters when trying to make our areas below look as good as they do above, and that's why the Manscaped engineering team have perfected the greatest ball trimmer you've ever created and just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. So now you can shave your most important possessions with no fear of injury. The Manscaped razors are super premium and boast a 90-minute battery life. Imagine if it took you 90 minutes to cut that. It doesn't take me 90 minutes to do my front and back garden outside. So you can use them in the shower, and even a little LED light comes on as well, as you can see there. But the good thing I like about it is that it is able to be used in the shower, which means you can do your hair and do that. The Manscaped razor is super easy to charge and even comes with a USB charging stand, so you can show it off to everyone who uses your guest bathroom. And because Manscaped care about the nuts that watch this channel, I put a little bit of a pun there on balls, they are giving you a huge 20% off plus free shipping when you use the code UNITEDSTAND20. All one word at checkout. Another great thing about Manscaped is whenever your purchase is made, manscaped.com, they make a contribution to the Testicular Cancer Society to bring awareness to testicular cancer, men's health and early cancer detection. So what are you waiting for? Head over to manscaped.com or click the link in the description to get your Manscaped razor today. And as I always add on, and they don't really like me to add it on, but I'm going to, trim the yard to make the grass look bigger. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. The link is in the video description. Make sure you give it a go. 20% off using the code UNITEDSTAND20. Link is in the video description for that. And also the nasal trimmer. This is the one I use the most. Up your nose. If you're really old, in your ears. Ricky, I tell you what, Fleck, it's the best thing I've seen since Dan James running down the wing. It does do your ears, but I use it for your nose. So there you go. And the trimmer for that as well. Very good products. And I do recommend it. Link in the video description for that. Spin. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer priority. Let's get on with the show. Ricky's going to moan at me now. Look. First, also, just let me say, the Glazers apparently making a transfer. Well, not apparently. I've spoken to my guy this evening talking about the Eric Bailly transfer, and what he told me was very surprised Eric Bailly has signed the new contract at Manchester United. Every indication for the last year has been that Ole doesn't really rate Bailly and he would be letting him go in the summer. What I was told is what we were talking about this morning anyway. Manchester United signing Eric Bailly. This is the same as Pereira. This is the same as Mata. This is the same as Matic. And this is the same as Phil Jones. Giving people, Solskjaer doesn't really want to use big contracts because it's cheaper to keep them than to let them go and bring in the replacements Ole needs. The line I was told this afternoon, this is Glazonomics. This is not what Solskjaer really wants. He's got to come out and say it is, but the proof is in the pudding. Has he ever picked Eric Bailly ahead of Lindelof and Maguire? Has he dropped Eric Bailly every chance he's had? Yes. Do you really think Eric Bailly is a player that Ole wants? Well, look at those quotes. But the Glazers forcing Solskjaer into a transfer change already. Things are not going to go the way Solskjaer thought he were going to go in the summer, or hoped. They're going to be a lot worse. So we'll talk about that and the spin that's coming out. But you might see it if you're watching live. It says, get the Glazers out, sign the petition. This is massive. People say, please, how do we get involved? How can we get involved if we're not going to be at the protest? The protest is going to be fantastic. The protest at the weekend was fantastic. Well done if you went to the protest. Well done if you're going to the protest. It will be impactful, definitely. And there's loads of other stuff going on. Loads that you're going to see. Some of the stuff we can't tell you because if we tell you, they'll know it's coming. But there's loads going to happen and loads of people are doing great work. But you can do great work as well. This is where the United stand can stand up and make a massive difference. There is a petition at the moment to get the government to talk about 50+1. It needs 100,000 people to sign it. We started on this morning. It had about 32,000. It's now at nearly 42,000. That's a petition that was doing quite well, that's doing really well because of you. Get signing that petition. The link's in the video description if you're not watching live. It's in the second paragraph. If you are watching live, it's on the chat. It's pinned to the top. Sign that petition. I'm saying, because I know what we can do, let's get that to 100,000 before the protest on Sunday, so the protesters on Sunday can be shouting about that being in the government as well. So make sure you sign it and work tirelessly to get people to sign it, because if we can do that, that's another tick. It's another tactic. It's another way, and you can get involved in that. So please, 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 let's take that upon ourselves as a United Stand community to push that through. I've spoken to people like Robbie, trying to get him to do it on AFTV as well. I'm going to speak to some other fan channels as well. Red Men, Anfield Agenda, there's others I can speak to. Really got to push this through. And thanks everyone who's doing that. Sign it. Please, please sign it. You want to get involved, get that signed, get it shared. If you know people who'll sign it for you, get your gran to sign it, your granddad to sign it, get your sister, your brother, your mother, your lover. Your mother's not your lover. Your mother, your lover. There was a comma there. Right, let's get on with the show. Somebody said you could use a fake postcode if you're not in the UK, says Benjamin. I don't know about that. Please sign the petition, says MIPSH. United We Stand. So, let's get into this. Spin, spin, spin. I feel like Kylie Minogue. I'm spinning around. Move out of... No, don't do that. This is spin. This is spin today. I am convinced that this is Dr. Spin. Spin Doctor, sorry. What Spin Doctors? Were they 1, 2 princes who adore you? Just go ahead now. This is spin. And people say, what spin? Spin? It's called PR spin. What you do, right? Whatever you do wrong, if you work in the media or if you're a celeb or whatever like that, your lowest point is always the worst news. The day where the headlines hit and they've got you. You know, you're greedy. The Glazers are greedy. Every day after that will never be as impactful as that first day. So that is longevity is thing. Let's move further away from that bad day, and it will get less and less and less. Second thing, feed in positivity stories, because that will dilute it as well. And this is what we've seen today. Do you think for 1 minute Eric Bailly was signing his contract today if we hadn't had the week we'd had last week? Not in a million years was that going to be announced today if we hadn't had that Super League debacle. And you know why they put it out there? Because Eric Bailly, quite rightly, is very liked by the Manchester United fan base. And to criticise that deal, you've got to sort of criticise Eric Bailly, which people don't want to do. So it's a positivity story. And all right, you'll all still be going, I'm still Glazers out, I'm still Glazers out. But, you know, it's a drip, drip, drip effect. That's what that is. That's what they're trying to do. So Eric Bailly, PR spin, get Ollie in front of the press as well. Ollie wasn't going to be in front of the press till Wednesday. Get him in on Monday. Get more of Ollie in front of fans' eyes. Positivity, Ollie's smile. It's all subconscious PR spin. You might think that's quite an irrelevant story. What has it done? Eric Bailly's smiling at you. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's smiling at you. They're smiling at you in Manchester United kits, in a Manchester United background. We've signed a player. It's all subconscious. It's not like, you know, it's not like Messi's signed, but this is how psychiatrists work. It's a positive message. Manchester United, positivity. Solskjaer's positive. Eric Bailly is a positive. It's a signing of a player. It's all feeding into your subconscious. It's all spin. They're spinning the story. You might not realise it, but it is spin. 100%. But go back to what I've said. Actually, I'm going to take it as a negative. And this is a hard stance to take because I like Eric Bailly, but I'm going to take it as a negative. I'm not going to swallow their spin. I'm going to take it as a negative because what this says to me is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted a centre-back last summer. They didn't get it him. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted a centre-back this summer. He likes Harry Maguire and he likes Victor Lindelof and he wants a Varane. Let's say that. Varane comes in, Lindelof probably goes to the bench. Eric Bailly gets sold. Eric Bailly signs a new contract. Do you think we're still going to get Varane? Why would we get Varane? He's got Harry Maguire and Lindelof and Eric Bailly is the deputy. You bring Varane in, Bay's getting less time. What's Eric Bailly been told to sign a contract for when he had interest from people like Inter Milan and Spain? What have they told Eric Bailly to sign a 3-year contract at Manchester United? They've told him, you're competing Lindelof to play with Harry Maguire. I'm convinced of that. I think this is a negative. I think what this is, you've got Eric Bailly, who's been on around 100 grand a week for the last 4 years. He's therefore on another 100 grand a week, isn't he? He's not going to take a pay cut. 100 grand a week is probably what Solskjaer would want to play to Koundé or a Torres. But for a Varane, he's probably going to have to play 200 or 250 grand a week. Well, the Glazers have played a blinder here, because instead of paying 50 million and 200 grand a week to Varane, they're paying nothing and 100 grand a week to Bailly. It's Glazonomics. It's simply brilliant business. You're not having a centre-back, you're keeping Eric Bailly. We save the money, we save the wages, happy days. It's Glazonomics all over the place. And also, what I would say is, I do like Eric Bailly. I do like him, but I said it before all of this happened, I said this. Injury prone, I can't build a team around a player that's injury prone. All we've done today is extended the contract of our third choice centre-back. He ain't never going to be our first choice centre-back, because if he was, Solskjaer would have used him already. And Ollie came out with some interesting quotes. But listen to this. Appearances for Manchester United. Harry Maguire has played 104 games for Manchester United and he's not even been here 2 seasons. Eric Bailly's played 100 games in 5 seasons. And we've just given that a 3-year deal at 27. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said he's a significant part of the squad. There's one clue. He's a significant part of the squad, not the first team. He's a significant part of the squad. Also, he's learning and improving all the time under our coaches. He's 27. Learning and improving under our coaches. These are the same coaches that you said are learning on the job, Ollie. So our 27-year-old centre-back is learning and improving all the time under coaches that you've said are work in progress. I mean, it's not a glowing report, is it? Thanks to Steve Davis, who signed the petition as well. So, look, I think that, to be honest with you, that this is spin. We're going to get more spin. I would imagine we'll probably sign another. They'll bring forward the signing of another youth player very, very quickly, because that's more positive spin. And it's drip, 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 drip. Positivity, positivity, positivity. Let's get a fan forum on Friday and sit down to people and spin them a load of shit. Let's keep some positivity going. Let's get it into the press. Let's get it all out there. Let's get positivity going, because that's what they need to do. And look, I don't blame them for doing it. They made a massive error last week. If I ran a business like Manchester United and we'd done that last week, I'm not blaming people like Neil Ashton and the communications and the Glazers trying to do what they're going to do. I'd be stunned if they didn't do it. They need to spin this around. And you know why they need to spin it around? Because the big reason why we need to get rid of the Glazers, because it's a business. It's a money-making empire. So they've got to get the wheels turning again so that they can make the money. They've got sponsors that they've got deals with. They've got to get it running again. You don't just sit back and go, we got it wrong, let them criticise us forever because we got it wrong. Let's just give up. They have to do this, and they're going to do this. But I don't see the Eric Bailly new contract as a good deal. I see it as a bad deal. And I hate to say it, because I'm loyal to Manchester United players that I like. And I think Eric Bailly is a player I really like. And I think he should have been playing with Maguire instead of Lindelof. But I would still sell him in the summer, because one, I agree with Ricky. I don't actually think he's as good as people think he is. But two, I do rate him, he's injury prone. I'm sorry, he's had 500 days of injury in the last 4 seasons. That's over a year, and it's nearly a year and a half. So it's a bad deal, and it's ultimately nothing to do with Eric Bailly, because we've done it with Phil Jones, we did it with Andreas Pereira, we did it with Mata, and we did it with Matic. We sign players on long contracts when they should be getting rid of them, simply because if you keep Mata on 140 grand a week, you haven't got to spend 40 million on a replacement and give them 150 grand a week. If you keep Matic for another year, you haven't got to spend 60 million on a new CDM, you save yourself 60 million. If you keep Bailly, you haven't got to spend 60 million pounds on a centre back and wages as well. This is basically what the Glazers do to Manchester United. If there's a leak in Old Trafford, put a plaster over it. it will save us money. It's slow decay. That's what it is. It's saving money, slow decay. And it runs right the way through that club. I spoke to somebody a few weeks ago and they were saying, you wouldn't believe the sort of infrastructure at Manchester United. I wouldn't be surprised if they're actually still on Windows 97. They're that crap at upgrading things. So that's the Glazonomics. Every pound is accounted for. And if they can save money, they'll do it. And I think Eric Bailly is an expensive risk to save money, and if they prove us wrong, they prove us wrong. Ollie also agreed to the new contract, so he's also to blame, says Jayling's fan. Mate, it's not on Ollie this. I'll explain something to you on this one before we move on. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't want Edison Cavani. He wasn't even on Man United's list. United's list was messed up last summer. He didn't want Tellez, that wasn't his first choice. He wanted a centre-back, he wanted Jadon Sancho, and then the week before the end of the transfer window, Manchester United went to Solskjaer and said, we're struggling a bit, but do you want Edison Cavani? And Ollie took him, because I would. I can't sit there and go, no, I don't want Edison Cavani, I want Sancho, because I know I'm not going to get it. Same things happened with Eric Bailly. You're not getting a centre-back. Do you want us to renew Eric Bailly's contract? No, I want a proper centre-back. You're not getting it, and Eric's going to go to Inter if we leave him. It's not... Solskjaer... What's happening is Solskjaer's getting his third, fourth, fifth option again instead of option 1 and 2. United have finished with the parasites in charge. They've got to get them out, Stephen. We've got to get them out. And I personally don't think even if they change their tactics or anything like that, I just don't think they can be trusted. I think that... I hope they can see that. I hope they can see that there's so much going on. And look, the United stand obviously will be vocal about it, but there's loads of stuff going on. People are not happy. They're not happy, and there's loads of stuff going on. And that's only the stuff that we sort of know about. I mean, it's not a lot of it's to do with us, but there's a lot going on, and there's probably loads of going on that we don't even know about. So people aren't happy. They're not happy this time. They've not been happy before, but they're not happy this time. And I don't think the Glazers can change. And I personally think that Eric Bailly is a sign of the fact that they're not going to change. I felt that the Phil Jones contract was one of the worst ever handed out. I don't think this is anywhere near as bad as that, but I still think it's a cheap way of putting a plaster over a problem. I really do think that next season, our centre-backs are Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof and Eric Bailly. Well, we already know you can't win a title with that. So, we're cracking on next year. And you know what's coming next year? McFred. We're playing we've got to play two holding midfielders next year if we're going to play Maguire and Lindelof again. They ain't suddenly going to 5 yards apace. It's not bloody Sonic the Hedgehog where he runs through those rings and gets a nitro boost. This is real life. Maguire and Lindelof are not going to get the pace to be two centre-backs that can be left on their own with one CDM. They're going to be protected species again next year. So we're going to play a similar style of football where our number 10 is isolated. Our strikers are isolated. I can see exactly how we're going to play next season unless there's a real shock in the transfer window. If with Bailly staying, I don't think centre-backs are priority anymore. Hence the new transfer plan, which we're going to talk about. The picture of them for the press after him signing is hilarious. Neither of them look thrilled about it. We need the Glazers gone ASAP. It's a worrying thing. Look, I think we all love Eric Bailly, but I think we all know that that's Glazonomics at work. Should Ollie actually threaten a walkout in the summer if not backed in the window? If results don't go well, he'll be fired in December. Look, that wasn't a topic, Shrinverson, but I'll answer it because you gave us a super chat about it. I have always said about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that he is not the man to walk on anything. I don't think there's a principle he will walk on. I don't think he would walk if he thought he wasn't good enough. I don't think he's going to walk because he thinks the Glazers are bad managers. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in his dream job. He's never going to get a job like this again. He's never going to play football again because he's too old. He's never going to get a job like this again because I don't think any job in the world is bigger than this for Solskjaer. He's a United legend managing United. Juventus ain't as good as this for him. And he's never going to get a Juventus anyway. If Solskjaer gets the sack or walks on a principle, he will never manage a club anywhere near as big as this again. He'll probably never manage a Premier League club again. So Ollie is not going to walk because this opportunity is one he's got to ride. And also on top of that, let's be fair, he's also a man who is quite obviously pragmatic and a glass half full. And he will believe that he is doing more good in than out. And I actually agree with him on that. Why should he walk? because what we could get replaced by a blatant Glazer lover who has got no history with the club. So I think Ollie's the right person. Sign the petition, says K1. Please do sign the petition. It's pinned to the top of the chat. I don't know how many we've got on the petition at the moment, but let me just click the link on it. We've got 44,000, so it'd be nice to get to 45,000 before the end of the show. That's only 300 more. Link is in the live chat, pinned at the top, or you can go through the video description. Get it signed, and also whatever email address you put down, they will email you for you to confirm it, and then it's counted as a vote. So please do get it signed. We're pushing this, and I want to get it up to... I want us to have 100k on that before the protest march on Sunday, because it is going to be the United stand that's going to drive this, because that was static around 32,000 this morning. We've got it up to 44,000. Momentum, making more people aware about it. This is where this community can really do damage. I mean, I've done like 24-hour charity streams where I've started off and gone, oh, if we can get 5,000, it'd be great. And 24 hours later, we've got 15. So I know the power of this community and I know what we can do. And we can grab this. And look, you might not be able to be at the protest on Sunday for many reasons, but you can sign that petition. And if that petition gets 100,000, that could be even more impactful than the protest, because that means it's going to have to be discussed in government. So this is your opportunity to get involved. And I told you I would bring you those opportunities, and more of them will come. Hi, Mark. You keep hinting at things going on behind the scenes. Is there anything you can share about it, or would it ruin the impact when it comes, says Sandy? Well, no, these things have to be kept quiet, some of them, because otherwise the impact is lost. Of course it is. 100k by the end of the week. That's what we want. And I'm going to be speaking to other fan channels at other clubs to help out with this, but you're going to be the ones again. I can only sign it once. Right, so Ollie's priority has changed. This is where I wanted to go next with this. So I think the Bailly thing is a big hint that we're not going to sign a centre-back of the quality that we want. I don't think it means that we won't sign a Ben White or a Tyrone Mings. I think we might bring someone like that in. But I think the Varane thing is gone. I think he'll go to Chelsea. And I don't think we'll get Koundé or Torres either. I think we are looking at a centre-back that's not going to be a first-team centre-back. If you're keeping Bailly and you've got Maguire and Lindelof, why on earth would you then go and buy a superstar centre-back? So I just don't think that's going to happen anymore. Or... well, why would it happen? Eric Bailly would be fourth choice centre-back if we brought Varane in. Why would he sign a contract to be fourth choice centre-back? So I think that's the end of that. Loads of people saying they've signed it, which is great. Unfortunately, I'm not a UK resident, so I can't sign. Please correct me if I'm wrong, says Sumya. I think people in the live chat might be able to help you with that if you can, because I think some people have done it. British citizen, Kim, if you're a British citizen, you can still sign it if you're outside the UK. I think you just use like a London postcode or something like that. Or Manchester. But anyway, the reality is that I think what we've seen today is Glazonomics kicking in, spin kicking in, but also a very clear thing that I don't think a centre-back's a priority anymore. And when I was speaking to the person I spoke to a couple of hours ago, that we had that conversation. Mark, sometimes your audio is clipping or distorted. I advise you to look at your gain in the thing. Let me have a quick look at that. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong, mate. I think there might be a problem with my audio, and I don't know why I've got it. I don't know what's wrong with it. I have to play around with that off when I'm not there. So yeah, I think that we were talking about it, and basically both of us came to the conclusion that a centre-back is clearly not the priority. We thought it was, which is weird because it was a priority last summer and now it's not. I'm going to say this. Look, I want the Glazers out. I want change at the club. And I think we need to work really hard together to get that. So you can't really be Glazers out and then expect them to spend money that they never want to spend in the summer. I'll be very surprised if we spend over 50 million net this summer. I just don't think we're going to spend very much money. I think that the club really aren't scared of anything that's going to happen. I don't. I think that I don't think they're scared about protests. I don't think they're scared about banners. I don't think they're scared about planes flying over. I don't think they're scared of the government. I think that they are going to come out very soon and say that, you know, COVID is a big problem. They've lost a lot of money. But the problem is, right, some people choose to believe that the COVID thing is a reason for United not to spend money. And yet, we were openly looking to spend 70, 80 million on Sancho last summer. Where's that money then? Where's the 70, 80 million we had to spend on Sancho last summer? Because where is it? We didn't just buy Traore and Palestri because we couldn't get Sancho. Like, those youngsters had been scouted for a very long time. So where's the 70, 80 million that we had on Sancho? Where's that gone? And the reality is they can talk about COVID, but actually you've wasted a lot of money on the Super League. You've banked on that Super League thing, and that's where the money's been lost. And that's because you were greedy in the first place. So I think that if Manchester United spend any more than £50 million net this summer, I'd be very surprised. I think we're in for a bumpy ride. A lot of people think that we're going to be looking at people like Harry Kane and Erling Haaland. I can't see that. I've never saw what that was all about. I actually think that the Erling Haaland story and Manchester United will die. I think that was because they thought they were going into the Super League. I think that's all it was. And I may have mentioned it last week, but it's Erling Haaland or Harry Kane or anything like that. San says we had hope. Well, I'll explain where I am with you on the Erling Haaland story, and you tell me if you think differently. I was very open when we were linked to Erling Haaland. I couldn't understand it. You had people like Manchester Evening News and others. I think The Athletic mentioned it as well. I think even Romano was talking about it. Not that we were going to sign him, but that United were interested. And the whole time I was thinking, well, how under the Glazers do we spend £150 million on Erling Haaland? How does that happen? Like, we haven't got that money, and then you've got wages and Raiola's fee on top of that. How do we find that sort of money? I was convinced that this was a load of nonsense, but then I was always thinking there's a lot of people who do get good information saying that we're in for him, and I never understood it. I couldn't understand it. And then Harry Kane was being mentioned as well. I was like, oh, am I living in a fantasy world where we're owned by Man City's owners now? Because United just haven't got the money to do this. They haven't. And a striker's a priority. And I was like, why is a striker a priority? We need a centre-back and a CDM anyway. But look, that could just be a mistake by Solskjaer. I think we need a centre-back and a CDM. They're the priority. Solskjaer might disagree and think we need a striker, even though he doesn't play in a way of football that would help a striker. But the money thing, I could never get. Well, I think we now understand why Manchester United and Haaland, and we now understand why Chelsea and Man City and Real Madrid and Barcelona. I think Mino Raiola was fully aware about this European Super League. And I think that Mino Raiola's European tour to speak to clubs about Erling Haaland was all to do with the European Super League. Because Real Madrid and Barcelona cannot afford Haaland. We can't afford Haaland. Maybe Chelsea and Man City could. But if you're in the European Super League, we all can. And it was almost like he was the first franchise player of the European Super League. Because Dortmund weren't going to be in it. We were, and so were a load of other clubs. And everybody was getting about €300 million, 350 million euros just to join the Super League, which was potentially going to start in August. So I think that the Haaland rumour now probably was true. We probably were in a race. But this was European Super League dependent. I think Dortmund will keep Haaland for another year now because the Super League has collapsed and all the clubs that Raiola was talking to were Super League clubs. So I think that's why we were interested, and that was the only reason. And I think that's why Raiola would obviously be very pro a Super League. So I think United's priority is a striker. But I saw today that we were linked with this lad from Slavia Prague, a Senegalese lad. Is it Sami or something like that? I don't know whether I wrote it down. Abdullah Sima, who is like a young striker. But I think this is what United are going to do now. They're going to keep selling the future. Oh, look at Diallo and Palestri. Yeah, nowhere near not even near the bench. Oh, we bought another striker who won't be near the bench. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to keep selling your future dreams. Because I said this before, this is not really to do with the Glazers. This was more a Woodward and Ollie thing. And Ollie is selling it. I'm not criticising Ollie. Ollie's selling it because he believes it. Woodward's selling it because he's a businessman. Sell the future because the future never comes. I remember saying this about 6 months ago. If you sell fans the future, they'll be excited about the future, but it never comes. It's like Christmas, isn't it? I remember being a kid and in September time, you'd go around your grandparents' house or even your own house, and it'd be like, what do you want for Christmas? And they're only asking you in September because they've got to, sort the economics of it out. They can't just go out and buy everybody's Christmas present in bloody December, can you? Unless you're bloody Piers Morgan and you're rich. So, go around your grandparents' house, they get the little Argos catalogue out, and you'd say you want this, that, and the other. And then you get excited for the next few months thinking, I can't wait. And, that's exciting. That's what excitement is. Excitement for a transfer window. Excitement when you buy a player in June, but they're going to play in September. Excitement about an event that's going to happen. But with Manchester United, they sell you the excitement, but they don't deliver the product. And I think that this is what they do. They sell you the future. Oh, Diallo, look at Plastri. Oh, we're gonna win the title in 3 years' time. Keep selling the future. And then in 3 years' time, when you've not won the title, well, we've had COVID. It's been a very challenging market, so it's put us back another 3 years. And keep selling the future. Keep spinning it. And I think United. Who were we linked to today? We were linked to a striker today. I can't remember what their bloody name was, but it wasn't this lad. It's always about the future. But what will happen is, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants Harry Kane, he will get a 30 million striker that no other top club wants. And I'll say this as well, because it runs through. Search Manchester postcode, copy, sign, petition, paste done. Everyone asking you how you can do it, but there you go. Do your bit, says Sean Burns. And Mark, whether you agree or not, Ollie is the type of manager that rewards loyalty over ability, hence proving his inexperience at the level Glazers out, says Cigar. And Manchester United are ruining football and you talk bad about my club, says Leng. Who's your club? Leng. Sweet. We've gone past 45,000 on the petition now. Haaland probably knew as well. He was demanding wages of 1 million a week during Mino's tour that failed. So now the turkey is getting basted for sack, says Gabriel Noel. And if we aren't going to reignite the Sancho deal, we should be inquiring about St. Maximum. I don't see why his name is never mentioned, says Man. I mean, I like St. Maximum, but I think he's a bit inexperienced. Mark Dobby, it's like promising a child a PS5 for Christmas when you don't even celebrate it, says Mark Dobby. I mean, I still think that Sancho could happen. I'm not saying that these transfers aren't going to happen, but what I do feel is that it's just constantly about talking about the future. Keep talking about the future. And also, what I was going to say is, and let's be ruthless here, I've always said aggression and ruthlessness is exactly what United don't have. We do keep players like Phil Jones here because it's cheaper to do it. Eric Bailly, I think, is a sign of that. We've done it with Pereira. We've done it with Mata. We've done it with Matic. We've given bigger contracts or we've not got rid of players. We've not been ruthless. And you need to be aggressive in the transfer market to go and acquire the players that you want. Do you think that if Pep Guardiola, he wants a striker, he's got to go and get Andre Silva from Eintracht Frankfurt, or do you think they're actually looking for a player that fits in with what Pep wants to make them better? They go and get a player that fits in with what Pep wants to make them better. Now, they'll probably go and buy Silva now, but what I'm saying is, it's at Man City, I saw something there, and I think Gary Neville was a bit misquoted, but it was basically along the lines of, Pep Guardiola is well on track to be the greatest manager ever. Well, I'm sorry, not in my opinion, but I'll come back to that in a minute. But do you think that Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp, when he goes into the negotiation room with his board and they say, do you want to keep Eric Bailly or do you want to buy a centre-back? Do you think either of those players look at Bailly's injury record, realise that he's a third-choice centre-back for them and say, you know what, give him the 3 years, I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. I think we're absolutely fine. I'm really happy with Lindelof and Maguire, and I think we've got a title-winning 3 centre-backs there. We're all right. Don't worry. You keep the money. You treat yourself. Give yourself some dividends. Bullshit. And this is the problem. This is why we'll never close the gap. We're being sold a lie. We're being spun, and we're being sold false promises. We are not closing a gap on Man City by keeping Eric Bailly here for 3 years and not buying a centre-back. We're not going to do it. Pep Guardiola wouldn't do it. So why do we do it? Because we're owned by people who want to make money. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. It's true. It is true. And I'm glad that most Man United fans are awake to this now, because we've been saying it on this channel as a community for a long time. But you get called being negative. It's not negative, it's real. There is an undercurrent at Manchester United that defines everything that we do. And you have to look beyond the players that you like and look at what's actually the bigger picture here. Eric Bailly would not be kept by Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp because they're in for winning trophies. They want to win the Premier League, they want to win the Champions League, and they want to be ruthless. And whether they like Eric Bailly or not, they would look at his injury record and went, mate, you could be the best centre-back in the world, but you ain't going to play 50% of the season. I can't do with that. Off you go back to Villarreal. That's what they would do. But for United, it's about saving money, as always. So, is Pep Guardiola anywhere? Just very, very quickly, is Pep Guardiola anywhere near Is Pep Guardiola anywhere near the greatest manager in the world? I don't know what you think. Just a little break from the Glazers stuff and football for a moment in relation to United. I just want to chuck this in there. Is Pep Guardiola anywhere near Sir Alex Ferguson in relation to the greatest manager ever? Because to me, he's not. He's not won the trophies that Sir Alex Ferguson won, but I don't think that makes you the greatest ever. Personally, I think there are managers out there that were absolutely fantastic that didn't win anywhere near the trophies that Mourinho won. I think even in the British game, Bobby Robson was an amazing manager who did it with unfashionable clubs and did it in loads of different countries as well. Portugal, Spain, Holland, England. I mean, I thought Bobby Robson was an amazing manager. I also think Brian Clough was an amazing manager. He won the league title with Derby, two European Cups with Nottingham Forest. Fantastic manager. So, look, Pep Guardiola is a great tactical coach. He's brilliant. His teams are fantastic to watch and he puts so much work into it. But he's managed Barcelona with Messi. He had an open checkbook at Bayern Munich, who always win the league. And he's managed Man City, the richest club in England and in the world. And he's a great coach. But, I mean, I would even say that, his football's better than Mourinho, but Mourinho won a Champions League with Porto. You know, I'm not saying Mourinho's better, but what I'm saying is, don't come at me with words and your chest saying that Pep Guardiola is a greater manager than Sir Alex Ferguson. Sir Alex Ferguson started off at Aberdeen and broke up the Celtic Rangers' axes of dominance. He came to Manchester United and had money, but rebuilt a club that hadn't won a... You know, people seem to think that Sir Alex Ferguson coming to Manchester United and getting them to dominate football for 20-something years was easy. Man United, big club, we'd always spent money, but we couldn't win a title for over 20 years. So he rebuilt the club, he sustained success. But I think the main reason for me that Sir Alex Ferguson is better than Pep at the moment, and look, if Pep does it for another 15 years, maybe he takes over. Maybe he's on course for it. But he's nowhere near it at the moment. I don't even think of it being a conversation. But the big thing for me about Sir Alex is that apart from the last 2 years, I don't think Pep's ever really been tested. He wasn't really tested in his time in the Premier League. And when he was tested by Klopp took him right to the last day and then beat him. So I think Pep needs more of that. I think Pep's a great manager, but I think he's always got the slightly better hand, the slightly better squad, the slightly better, bank checkbook. So, but when I think about Sir Alex Ferguson, prime Wenger in the late 90s, oh, what a battle that was. Then he had prime Mourinho in the mid-noughties, and he didn't always win, but he won the war. And I think that's the thing for Sir Alex Ferguson. He could reinvent the same team and keep doing it. And I think Pep is a great manager, but he's always got the cards. Pep does a runner when he sees he has to recycle teams. Fergie's recycled and performed time after time. Well, I don't want to be disrespectful because Pep Guardiola is one of the greatest managers there's ever been. But you do hit the nail on the head in a blunt way. Pep never recycles a team. Although at Man City, maybe he's going to do that. Pep or Klopp for United manager? Who would you choose? Says Will Lloyd. I'd still go Klopp. I think I'd still go Klopp. I prefer the personality. I prefer the football. But I wouldn't have a problem with anyone saying Pep. Pep is only the world's best at the moment because look at the team he has. If he was with United, he would struggle to win trophies. And I think that's a great point, Ben Thornton. Would Pep Guardiola win the title with this United side? No. Would Sir Alex Ferguson win it? He won it with Cleverley and Anderson. Like, the thing is, Sir Alex Ferguson could win titles with United sides that had holes in it. That's also something for Sir Alex. He didn't always have amazing teams and he still won titles. Your ex-manager was the best ever, but Pep's Barca played the best football ever. Invincibles the second, says Amy Asset. Yeah, well, if you're talking about style of football, to be honest with you, Zane, I always used to think that actually Arsenal were a better footballing side than us. Certainly in Wenger's prime years. I do think it, and I think we knew it. Anybody who remembers this, and you've got to be a certain age to remember this, but I think if you ask any United fan, honestly, at that time, we would never have admitted it. Bullshit. No way are Arsenal a better footballing team than us. But looking back on it now, I did know Arsenal's style of football under Wenger was better than Sir Alex Ferguson's. That's why we used to go and kick him off the park a bit and rough him up. We played brilliant football. We were a very good team. But Wenger technically was an amazing coach. And I think that's the same with Pep. Technically, he's a brilliant coach. But that doesn't mean he's the best coach, because there are aspects, isn't there? Are you a better coach when the going gets tough in a rivalry? Well, Wenger, for me, was a better technical coach, but Sir Alex had his number. Can you do it without all your best players being available? Sir Alex Ferguson proved that. So, the overarching all-rounder, Sir Alex Ferguson, wins every time. So let's have a look at the super chats. With Bailly renewal, Axel should go out on loan next season, and we'll need to bring one in. Axel has wasted 2 years of his growth. Yeah, better. I mean, look, I wouldn't say we're not going to buy a centre-back. I can see it being a Ben White or someone a bit shite. And maybe Twan Sebi goes on loan or we sell him. What a shame. What a shame, though. But I actually think he might just stick with the same 4 centre-backs and not buy one, which makes me want to throw up, mainly because we'll be playing a back 6 again next season, no matter what. I can see next season Maguire and Lindelof and McTominay and Fred again for most of the season, and that makes me want to throw up. How much is that on Ollie, and how much is that on the fact that they're not going to invest in the team? Ryan Moss says you've never watched Ben White. We literally played you a couple of weeks ago, mate, and I've watched Brighton play about 6 times this season. So how can you say I've not... You know what I love about this is people say Goldbridge don't know anything about ball. He clearly doesn't sit and watch the games, and yet there's video evidence of me watching the games with about 20,000 people. Come up with a better line than Goldbridge doesn't know ball, he doesn't watch football, because I actually have the evidence. If it went to court, I've got the evidence that I've sat and watched a game of football. So, sit down with your hate. Go to sleep. Mark, did you see Spotify is going to give us a 300 million deal? Zane, I don't want to talk about your Arsenal takeover, but congratulations if you get it. I got total and utter sympathy with Arsenal fans. I think they're in the same situation as us. They feel let down by their greedy owners who just want to use them as a business. And if Arsenal can remove them, fine, well done. It's not for me to speak about your deal on this channel. I'd be a little bit worried about Spotify doing it. Apparently he's a big Arsenal fan, so maybe he will use that money. But I don't think Spotify treat their artists that well. But that doesn't mean his money won't be spent well. Please keep signing the petition. The link is in the video description. I am personally setting us a huge task as United Stand community. Many of you want to play your part in trying to get the Glazers out of our football club. Well, I'm telling you what you can do. You can sign that petition, because if we get 100,000, it has to be spoken about in the British government. They have to have a debate about it. If we don't hit 100,000, they don't have to do it. We need to get 100,000. And also, the quicker we do it, the more impactful it is. I want 100,000 signatures on that before the protest on Sunday. Ideally Friday night party. I'll tell you what, I'll get the champagne and I'll pop it on air and we'll have a glass if you can hit that. What? Yeah, I do. I'm live at the moment though. Stand there. Go on, grab it. So this, but champagne aside. I know the power of the United Stand community. I know the size of it, and I know what it can do for good. So the opportunity is there for you. The opportunity is there for you to get involved. Sign that petition. It's pinned in the live chat. It's in the video description as well. Sign that petition. Have your say. Because ultimately, I actually think, as I said before, if you want change at Manchester United, that petition is all about change. It's about governmental change. It's about bringing in football changes to put the football clubs back in the hands of the fans. Every fan of every club should be sharing this. Everybody should. I tweeted this out this afternoon and it had 20,000 clicks, which means not everybody signed the petition, but they had a bloody look at it. And we need to keep sharing it. Keep it on the top. Let's get it done. Because if we take 4 weeks to do this, it's too long. We need this done yesterday. We need this review doing now. We need to get 100,000 on that. And this is where you play your part, because this is where you get involved. Some people won't be able to go on Sunday for many different reasons. And I'm not going to judge anybody for that. But you can sign that petition. Everybody can do that. And the link's in the video description, or it's pinned in the top. Even if Pep would struggle to win us trophies, we clearly have a weak squad and no depth. I've said this so many times. How does Pep Guardiola win the title with that United side? How does Jurgen Klopp win the title with that United side? I think we're always capable of beating anybody on our day, and we've proved that again this season. We've beaten Man City, we've beaten PSG. But over a 38-game season, the quality's not there for us to do that. Liam Deegan says it's your job now to let Man United's history be a feeder club for the Buccaneers NFL. UK, you've got to use a UK postcode to use it to do the petition. I've given it to Robbie Patrick, and I will be pestering Robbie about it as well. I've told him every AFT video should have it in there, but it's up to him. I'll push these. Don't you worry. I'll do my job. I had someone on Twitter today telling me, can you please promote the protest on Sunday? And I lost my shit. I lost it this morning because, unfortunately, as I said on That's Football, I had some bad news this morning to wake up to, that my granddad had passed away. Now, it's not the granddad who got me into Manchester United. He passed away about 15 years ago, but this was my other granddad. And so I've had a bit of a weird day, a bit of a numb day, to be honest with you. And thanks everyone who will say, rest in peace and everything like that, because I know you will do. And I appreciate that. But I've had a bit of a numb day today. And this morning I just read this tweet, and it's fine. I replied in one way, and then he replied, and then we got on with each other. But it was like, I put a tweet out, and then he replied to me, and make sure you promote the protest. And I replied to them and went, look, mate, and it was about where I was this morning. I went, look, mate, please stop tweeting me to promote something. I've literally just finished a video promoting 3 times. If you don't watch my content, stop badgering me about something I'm doing. I am doing more than people know. And a lot of people are doing more than they know. The protest is on Sunday at 2 o'clock at Old Trafford. The protest on Saturday was at 3 o'clock. Anybody who watches our videos knows that we're pushing that. I put it out on Sunday morning that there was going to be a banner going over the Ellen Road 2 hours before it happened. So look, people are telling us stuff that they're doing, and we will feed it out to you. There is not a lot more we can do at the moment than what we are doing. And that petition is something, in speaking to other organisations, that we basically, the United Stand, have been given the challenge to get that to 100,000. I've said I reckon we can do it. And I think we can do it. So look, this is it. Make your voices heard at the protest, says Matt. You can be there. But I tell you what, that protest on Sunday at 3 o'clock, if we've got that petition, you've got something to sing louder about then. We want action. And I think that's really important. So signing the petition as we speak, says Brandon Stevens. Thank you, everybody. And lots of people signing it. Really important. Postcode M16, says Srinvasan. Yeah, it's great. We've as I said, and look, I'm sure people at Man United are watching this, and I know they watch because why wouldn't they watch? They've got to see what's being said. I respect that. But if you are watching, I'm not talking about players. I'm talking about people not in the boardroom, but people who have to keep their eye on us. It's not about getting you out your jobs. It's about getting people who've had 15 years in this club, bleeding it dry, out of this club. This is about loving the club. This is not a witch hunt. This is not bullying. This is not harassment. This is about results. This is about facts. This is about an ownership that had bought this club, put it into debt. We never should have been put into debt. They bought this club on debt. They saw a business opportunity, and they never saw hundreds of millions of Man United fans' feelings, and they never cared about it. They just saw it as a cash cow. They've had 15 years. I tell you what, if we did get them out, they're lucky they got that long. So this is a war. This is a war, and we will do everything within our power that's legal to try and get them out. That is the plan. They can put their hands up and they can allow change. They can stay and have 49% if they want. Or they can say, we're not going anywhere. And we might lose. But we must be given that opportunity to do what we can. And we may well lose this battle. We could win it. Arsenal look like they're going to win theirs very, very quickly. So we've got to do everything we can, and every single person has a say to this. I said this to somebody the other day. I said, you know what? I was having a bit of an argument with somebody, and they were like, "Oh, we don't want the United Stand involved. We don't want any of these fan channels involved. You're just a bloody embarrassment." And I said, "Look, that's your opinion. Well done. Have it. I don't care. But as I said, tell me anything that we've said that we've been proved wrong on, because ultimately we haven't been proved wrong, because it's opinion. It's opinion about a striker, a manager, a centre-back pairing. It's opinion. It's opinion. It's football fans who love the game talking about it. But I tell you what, if you and your mates are not going to buy the new United shirt, then that's you and your mates. That's 300, 400 people. If you get that out to every fan around the world, that could be 100 million people instead of 300. That's where something like the United Stand community comes into play, because it's a global thing. And that's why you need to utilise it. You might not like some of the things that are said on there because it's not the opinion you have, but they love United and you love United, and it's a massive, massive platform to be used. Hi, Mark. How do you feel about protesting during a pandemic, and do you applaud... Brian, I'm not answering that, thank you. It's got nothing to do with any individual, for a start. If Manchester United Supporters Trust or the Red Army or the United Stand or any other organisation organise anything, then it's not on them. It's on everybody else who is involved. The United Stand can push that petition, but it's you who sign it. This is not about applauding people for what they're doing. Nobody I've spoken to wants applause. I know people who've done things already privately. They don't want any attachment to it. They just want change. It's not about any individual. It's not about patting anybody on the back. The hint is in the word united. We've got to be united. There's got to be unity. You've got to put aside all your past issues if you are united in making change. And even then we might not win, but we must do that. There's a link in the video description if you can't find it through the pinned chat, but I have got it in the pinned chat anyway. Lots of people signing the petition, which is fantastic. And so we've took that up from, we've done nearly 2,000 signatures in an hour, which is absolutely fantastic. That was on 32,000 signatures. So what is this petition? So it's enforced the 50 plus run rule for professional football club ownership in the UK. So we're not even doing it just for United. We're doing it as a bigger picture for football, bringing a law which enforces British professional football clubs to have at least 51% fan ownership, similar to how the Bundesliga rule is. The new European Super League plans show the clear greed of elite football club owners in England. This precedent of profit over people is already taking the game away from everyday people who founded and made the sport what it is. This law would ensure decisions made around the clubs would take the fans and good of the game as a priority over money. It needs 100,000 signatures. It's going up every few seconds at the moment. 46,380 at the moment. That was at 32,000 this morning. We've done 2 videos with that in the video description. It's had a bit of quite a big push on Twitter through United Stand and me, and a lot of people have retweeted it. So it just shows you, if we can do 12,000 in a day, we've got till next Sunday to get that to 100,000. And I tell you what, the government, if it hits 100,000, it has to be at 100,000 signatures. This petition will be considered for debate in Parliament. So that is what we have to do. If it doesn't hit that, government responds to all petitions that get more than 10,000. We don't want a response. We want a petition. We want this debated in government. Massive, massive issue. So do your bit in relation to that. And I'm very, very proud of people who are getting involved. And just, you know what? You can take that link that's in our video description. You can take that link. You can tweet it. You can send it out on Facebook. You can put it to whoever you want. Anybody. Because it's about football. It could be a Chelsea fan. It could be an Arsenal fan. It could be a Swindon fan. It could be a It could be a Forest fan. It could be a Wolves fan. It could be, it's for football. So we should be able to hit this. I think we can do it just through United fans, but we can't. Everybody needs to sign it. I've signed it. Yep, Oliver Sinclair. I've signed it. Well, I haven't signed it 3 times. I've done it. I've got about 3 different emails. Is what I was trying to say, because there's a United Stand email, there's my email, and there's another email as well. But yeah, I have signed it. But that's because we've got 4 or 5 people who are involved in the United Stand. So there you go. Which is just reminded me of another 4 signatures I can get. So yeah, I mean, realistically, you yourself could probably get, for 1 signature, you could probably get 30 people if you wanted to, because I'm sure your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your brother or your sister or your mother or your lover, I'm sure they've got an email address. This is it. It doesn't just end with 1 signature. Go and get 4 or 5 others, because if we all go and get 10 people to do it ourselves, we'll have this cracked in no time. This is our challenge. This is the United Stand Community Challenge. Get this to 100,000. And maybe others will take it on as well, but that's all part of the challenge. So let's do it. Let's do it. Look, we will be... your hamster can't sign it, George, unless he's got an email address. But let's focus on this for now. And that's the thing. There will be new challenges next week. We're always in conversations with people. There might be something else next week, but I want us to do this. Let's get this one done as soon as possible. Tick it off. It's another feather. It's another arrow in the bow, or whatever it is. And next week there might be something else. We know the protest is on Sunday. That's going to be huge. Imagine if we can get this done before then. Massive. And then after the protest next week, what's next? That's how you've got to think about it. That's what you've got to do. Get Kadaki and Ollie to sign it. Well, yeah, if anyone knows their email, if you are watching, Ollie, I know you do, please get the lads to sign it as well. Anyway, look, fantastic show tonight. Lots to get through, which we did. Make sure you smash a like on the video. I've really enjoyed the video tonight, actually. Yeah, look, I think the Bailly thing. I want to make it absolutely clear. I really do rate Eric Bailly, and if you've been watching the channel, you'll know how many times this season I've said we're a better team when he plays Bailly and Maguire. But Bailly and Maguire, I think we play a higher line. I think we can play with 1 holding midfielder, but he never wants to do it. There is no sense in this. There's no sense in the Eric Bailly thing. 1, he never uses him and has always refused to use him ahead of Lindelof. 2, he's ridiculously injury prone. And 3, he's quite expensive for a 3rd choice centre-back. To me, this is about, I want a centre-back. You're not getting one. You're getting Eric Bailly for another 3 years. Okay, bye. And that's what I think's happening. So yeah, please do sign that petition. Links in the video description for that. And of course, massive shout out to Manscaped. Don't forget them. 20% off using the code UnitedStand20. The link is in the video description for that. Trim your grass to make your yard look bigger, and also use it for your ear, use it for your nose. If you're me, if you're getting to that age, you need it for your nose. If you're Ricky, I'm telling you what, Fleck. Listen up, Fleck. This is the best thing I've used. Best performance I've had since I seen Dan James play yesterday. Absolutely fantastic. What does Gary Barlow think? I think it's absolutely fantastic, Mark. It is. Links in the video description. Really good product. Thanks to Manscaped. Links in the video description. Waterproofed as well, so you can use it in the shower and multitask. I'll see you on the show in the morning. Thanks for watching, and keep cracking on with that petition, and check out the Manscaped stuff. 20% off. Thanks for watching. Speak to you in a bit. Stay safe. Thanks, everyone. Really enjoyed the show.